country, but the USA, the Freedom Tower in New York. I believe that was erected where the two fell down, is that correct? The Freedom Tower? Well, there was a security man there, the first line of defence, and there was a picture taken of him, and he was asleep. Now, that's not the best thing. Wait till you hear this. Not only was he asleep, but he's half-blind. A half-blind security guard. What's that all about? Now, he wasn't Irish. Half-blind security guard. His own words, he couldn't open his left eye and has hazy vision out of the right eye due to nerve damage. And he's the first line of defence at the Freedom Tower. Security guard. Something amiss there. There's something wrong. He's older in years. He was 65. He used to have good sight, good vision, I suppose. I don't know. But half-blind. Half-blind. Security guard. And I tell you, there are half-blind security guards in the church. They started off well and they were guarding the faith, but because of damage has got into their hearts. Erroneous doctrine has infiltrated their lives and they are now half blind. Think of that security guard. Think if I was to sit down with him. We were sitting on a bench and someone lifted up something in the distance with writing on it. We both see that, but we both read it differently. Isn't that correct? We see the same thing, but he reads it differently to me. Why? Because he hasn't got clarity. He's got hazy vision. He's got damaged sight. And alas, that's the same in the church. Indeed, today, there are many that could come into this church, and I tell you something, they started off well. They started off great in the things of God and in the gospel. But if we were to open up that book, this book in front of me together, they would now see things indeed differently. Differently. Their sight is now changed because of damage, because of erroneous doctrine. They see the book, the gospel, differently. They see Jesus differently to you or I. They once saw the same thing, but no more. They have been sleeping on duty. We have been called to fight. And when you've been called to fight, you have to be alert. You have to be switched on. We cannot sleep on duty. If you sleep on duty, then there's the potential to be infected with all sorts indeed. You see, something could be, let's say, stolen, and it's stolen and replaced with something else. Isn't that correct? Think of a picture at an art museum. Think of a security guard, and he's sitting in front of this picture. He's guarding this picture, okay? All of a sudden he dozes off, he falls asleep. A thief comes in, removes the picture and replaces it with a forgery. Then the guard wakes up. He sees the picture in front of him. Thinks to himself, I'm doing a good job here. He doesn't even know that the original has been replaced with a forgery. He doesn't know why, because he fell asleep. He fell asleep. And the church at Galatia fell asleep. Galatians 1:6, the Apostle Paul said this, I marvel that you are so soon removed from him that called you into the grace of Christ unto another gospel. They started off well. They started off in the things of God. They started off in the gospel, in the truth, and in the light. But here's what happened. False teachers infiltrated the church and brought in a different gospel. Another gospel, a perverted gospel. And while they were sleeping, it was stolen or taken away or removed